Well, the hook blade works.
There's a rhythm to it, right? You have to know when to press the button.
And but yeah, exactly. You hit the B button, and see, rather than get stopped on that ledge and then climb up, there's a kind of spring to it where you attach to the edge and fling yourself up like that. So yeah, I think Alex has been fond of saying that it increases navigation speed by about 30%. That sounds about right. There's just a kind of a snappiness to it. You do have to be active about it, though. One of the things is, a lot of games with, big action set pieces and things, they're so complex sometimes that it's really risky to give a player a lot of freedom, right? Because you want, things to go the way you want them to, the designer. So that's, the navigation in previous games has often felt, in some cases, it's felt really free-flowing, where you hold down a button and you just push in a direction. And Ezio will grab things, he'll climb things, and that's always worked really well. And people really get into the rhythm of that. It takes a while. There's people who are used to old styles of gameplay. I've seen a lot of people play these games and they're new to Assassin's Creed, so they're constantly hitting the jump button to try to jump off ledges, but that actually doesn't work because we go into high-profile sort of jump mode. You hold it down and you jump. We have a slightly different system we use, but with the addition of the hook blade, we have given some of that choice back, where if you want to go faster up a wall, you hold down that hook blade button and you'll fling up faster. Or if you don't want to go around corners with those flower pots and you want to actually fling straight forward, you use the hook blade actively, you fling straight across, straight out from it, maybe across the street rather than around a corner. And then here we see using the hook and run. Nice tune about. Where if there's a bunch of guards in front of you, rather than be stopped by them and be directly confronted, you just want to keep running. You want to be that assassin who gets in and out quick. You use the hook blade and you flip right over them, or you can kind of judo flip them and actually throw them if you just tap it. So this was just one of a few ways to make even navigation more active. You have more choices. But if you choose not to make those choices, that sounds weird, then you can sort of play it the way that people have always played Assassin's Creed.
Now, that extra speed that you have maneuvering through the world, have you balanced that out in a way to make sure that you still have that tension of feeling like, there's a chance you might be caught up with during a chase?
Yeah, there's more guards with guns, more guards with, there's actually bomb throwing guards. So yeah, there's more ways they can get you. You are faster, but that's kind of the old, going back to AC1, the old idea of the assassins was social stealth and kill your target and get out of there.
Right.
So that's kind of especially with the way we in the previous game, you had to run, and the guards would always be alert. I guess this in AC1, guards would always be alert until you hid. And then we kind of changed that system around so that you have to get outside of a radius, right? To make it feel like, as long as you got pretty far from the scene of the crime, then you were okay. So we do want you to be a fast runner, because that's kind of how the old assassins worked, right? It's like get in, sneak up to your target, kill him, and everyone saw you kill him, but then you get the hell out of there, because that's kind of how the original Hashashin worked. They would be sneaky right up until the point of killing their target, and then they wouldn't care if they got caught or not, because they had accomplished their job. Obviously, our assassins desire a longer lifespan, but that is the spirit in which we create our games. We're not trying to be a total sort of like Splinter Cell type stealth. We want to be social stealth, where you have just enough time to get to your target, and as soon as your target's dead, whatever happens after that, it doesn't matter. So it's a slightly different take on the whole social, or the whole stealth thing. That's why we call it social stealth.
Every day, the same bad news.
So just a moment ago, we saw that sweeping vista of all of Constantinople. Can you talk about the scale of the city and how it compares to Rome and Brotherhood?
Yeah, so our map, the just physical size of it is just slightly smaller than Rome, almost as large as Rome's map. But if you remember, Rome was almost just about a third or 2/5 city. The rest of it was countryside. Our Constantinople is all city. It's very, very dense. You can kind of get a sense of how big it is here. So that's the main peninsula on the far side, and then here we're in Galata district, which is traditionally more of a European section. But yeah, so nearly the same size as Rome, but all city, very dense. So no horses in this game, no need for them. In fact, the zip lines are the
new horses.
Yes, and then of course we have another city. In a hidden city in the region of Cappadocia. And that's fairly sizable. Free roam, lots of free roam opportunities in Cappadocia. And then Masyaf as well, with some areas in the outskirts of Masyaf. So yeah, plenty to explore in this one. Keep it on the cutscene.
And another there. Watch this.
So this is just, again, one example of bridging systems. We have this hook blade where you're using it for traversal, but you can instantly switch, if you're quick, to an aerial assassination. And so, and it's quite fun when you pull it off. I remember the first one I did. It was still in the prototype phase, but it was still pretty exhilarating.
Nice.
Yeah. For the real hardcore achievement hunters out there, we even have an achievement where Ezio still has his parachutes, from the last game, the Da Vinci parachutes. And if you can jump off a building, parachute, then drop and hook onto a zip line and go.
Oh wow!
It's probably not too difficult, but it's really fun.
I can't be in two places at once, but with you here, I don't have to be.
Can you recommend any spots in the city where that works best?
No, because I haven't done it yet.
Oh, okay.
I just know that the achievement's there. What I have done is run sideways into or perpetually into a zip line and hooked onto it from the side. And then
and sort of change directions?
Yeah, a real quick turn. That's kind of fun. Harder to find those spots, though.
So we've discovered just now that there's some trouble with the Assassin's Den right now?
Right, so the Assassin Dens are an upgrade of the Borgia Tower. We've kind of combined, the Assassins still have their main headquarters, but we also have little dens around, 7 dens around the, there's a bomb. Yeah. That guy's not taking any.
No.
Get in there.
That guy came prepared.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the judo throw I was talking about.
I'm glad to see I'm not the only person who likes throwing bodies off of buildings.
So yeah, the dens are a combination of Borgia Tower and Hideout, right? So in the Borgia Towers, they just belong to the Borgia. You kill the leader, and then you blow up the tower, no longer a threat. In ours, it's slightly different. It's still a tower. You still have to find a captain and kill him and then take over the tower. There's one of the towers. But once you control it, you can lose it, right? So controlling it has a lot of advantages. Prices, you can renovate shops in the area. You can do business in the area. But if the Templars take it back, they'll add a tax to everything, so prices will skyrocket. And you'll be funding their evil ways. So when the Templars attack a den that you already own, you'll go into this mode, which is den defense. It's an optional mode. This is the tutorial where we teach it to you. But if for some reason you don't enjoy doing this, then what you would do is let the Templars take over your den, and then you'd have to go attack it again and take it back. But if you happen to like this, and I think a lot of people will, because it's quite robust and quite fun, you go into defense mode where you're actively defending it. And what you do is you generally have, you can kind of scan the street, and you have this cursor up here. And you have, in this case, you have 4 rooftops that you can control. And the way to control a rooftop is you purchase an assassin leader. Mm-hmm. And once a rooftop has a leader, then that leader can then direct troops below him or her. Here we're going to put some crossbow assassins. And each of these costs some morale points, which you see up there on the left. Oh yeah, a word of warning for people who... I love playing with the HUD completely off because I accept the money. I keep the money on. Then if you turn the HUD completely off, you might think your den defense is broken because it'll turn the HUD off in this too. So if you do find that, go turn your HUD back on.
Unless you're really good
at
going by intuition.
Hardcore, yeah. So killing guards, surviving just for a period of time, depending on your number of assassin leaders, that boosts your morale and slowly ticks up. I've seen people, even in this tutorial, you have to keep an eye on that morale, and there's no point in saving it up. Okay. Really, because you're not going to go buy a Lamborghini.
You're not going to spend your morale through the rest of the city.
Yeah,
afterwards?
I've seen people just sort of waiting, and then there's a huge assault that usually comes at the end with some sort of machine of war. And I've seen people like playing and waiting, and they've had morale at like 350. It's like, you need to spend that money. So yeah, barricades, lots of little nuances in this game. Apart from buying and allocating troops, Ezio has his wrist gun, and he can use that to actually be active and get involved in the battle himself. So you can shoot people on the street. You notice you can actually put riflemen behind barricades too. And thank you. And if Ezio shoots at somebody, then people will direct their attention to that area. Okay. You also have the cannon, which is functions the same way as the Brotherhood mechanic, right? Bringing your assassins in to help fight with you. When you're in den defense mode, that is now a cannon, and it recharges the same way. You fire it off, and then let's see, we just blasted some of this one. And if you like the den defense system, and as you play it, you will earn more and more unit types. So there's not just when you see the weapon wheel pulled up, you'll